So we say bye-bye to another draft class, but before we completely put this sucker in the rearview mirror, we got to hand out some draft grades. I already did the NFC earlier today, so you can go check that video after this one because we're talking about the AFC. A special thanks to our friends over at Underdog Fantasy. Thank you for sponsoring today's video. Remember, promo code Broshmo when you sign up, but we're going to be starting with, it's AFC West time, and we're going to start with the Denver Broncos, who took a Jahdae Barron corner out of Texas with their first pick. He could play outside. He could play in the slot. I think this is a good scheme he's coming to. He could play safety as well. He gives them some defensive versatility. He was 14 on my board. They get him at 20. You could argue, whoa, they need playmakers. Well, they addressed that on day 2. Albeit, I didn't necessarily love what they did on day 2, but I was okay with it. RJ Harvey, he was at 84 on my big board. They take him at 60. I'm fine. I'm fine with that. If they were looking for the Lightning to Audric Estime's Thunder, then he is the Lightning. Pat Bryant, this was a little bit higher than where I had him, but he is a good wide receiver. He feels like a Sean Payton wide receiver. May not have tested out that well, but he's a pretty shifty route runner that can create that separation. And he plays with my ball mentality. So I like the player. Did feel a little high for me. They did have one more pick in the 3rd round in Savion Jones out of LSU. Makes a ton of sense. Kind of feels like a John Franklin Myers type, who is a free agent after this season. So, okay, I get it. Even if I felt like some of these maybe were a bit reachy. They do grab Quay Robinson, edge out of Alabama in the 4th round. That's fine. I was a little bit lower on him just because, well, he doesn't have a lot of production to his name. Hasn't played a ton of snaps. This year was the first year he actually got significant playing time, and even then, he missed some of the year with injury. So you're dealing with a guy with a lot of tools. They drafted a punter. Cool. It is what it is. It was in the 6th round. I'm not mad. Caleb Lohner? Bro, I didn't watch this guy. I'm going to take a quick look. Apparently, he was a basketball player and just started playing football. As a former college basketball player, Lohner fits the stereotypes, uses his body well to box out down the field, attacks the ball at its peak, but lacks route running refinement. So taking a shot on a toolsy guy. It's pick 241. Do whatever the hell you want, I suppose. So, yeah, I don't really have much to say about that one. At the end of the day, it's like don't love this draft class. It's fine. I wish they probably could have got a better wide receiver than Pat Bryant, and I'm still okay with it. Just he's a Sean Payton guy. It makes sense. So I'm gonna give it a B-. Again, they grabbed some guys that I didn't necessarily love. It is what it is. You hear that? You hear that, guys? You hear the door? That's because you know the Kansas City Chiefs are about to be up. And Gojo's got to get in on it. All right, Gojo, I'm about to do a draft grade for the Chiefs. You want to say hi to the people? Here it is, Gojo coming in for his Chiefs. Didn't know. Resident Chiefs fan here on the channel, Gojo. I'm a Dolphins fan, so sucks living with this dude. But he's got, look at this precious little smile. Look at that. You know, we got Gojo merch on the channel. Go check that out. But let's go ahead and get into it with the Kansas City Chiefs. Don't worry. I promise you're not going to hate the grade. You won't, I promise. So the Kansas City Chiefs seemingly got their tackle of the future with Josh Simmons out of Ohio State. I like the pick quite a bit. You could argue he could have been a top 10 player. It would have been tackle 1 if he didn't get hurt. It's a patellar tendon injury. Sometimes guys don't quite come back as efficient as they were prior to the injury from that. Also, there were some character concerns. I didn't really hear that or see that. The NFL draft, it's a lot of smoke and mirrors sometimes. There's just news out there that's just not true. They did move down one spot and grab a extra fifth rounder in the process. Still got their guy. Cool. I love it. Pick 63, they grab Omar Norman Lott, defensive tackle out of Tennessee. I got some qualms with Lott just because he only had more than 300 snaps in one season, and that was back in like 2021 or something with Arizona State. He's been largely a rotation player. He's primarily more of a pass rusher, though you could argue he's the best pass rushing interior player in this class. And I thought there might have been a chronic knee issue there, which maybe led to minimal snap counts. You're pairing up with Chris Jones. I don't think that's scary as hell. So I am mad. Ashton Gillette, edge out of Louisville. This did feel high for him, and that sucks. I liked this guy quite a bit. He doesn't have ideal length. He tested out faster than I thought. He's a pocket pusher. He'll hit you with a good bull rush. Feels like better Mike Dana, right? Could be, but I had him as a 4th round pick, or at least an early day 3 pick. You get him at 66. That felt quite a little bit high. And then the Chiefs got on the move because they were like, we wanted to get a corner, and corners have flown off the board. I think with the pick just before this, Jacob Parrish went to the Bucks. So the Chiefs moved up. They sent a 4th rounder next year and pick 95 to move up 10 spots. They grab Noel Williams, corner out of Cal. I had a 4th round grade on him, but he was my top corner among the day 3 corners. So you're basically getting your pick of the first corner that would go in the next round. That's A-okay. He really fits Spags' system. Press corner, a lot of ball skills. Don't mind it. 4th round pick, Jalen Royals. This is one of my favorite picks in all of the draft. I had a 60. He was 62 on my big board. They get him at 133. This feels like this potentially could right the wrong that was Sky Moore. That's the type of player we're talking about in Jalen Royals. And then in the 5th round, they get Jeffrey Bassa. I actually like that pick quite a bit. He was a green dot guy at Oregon. Kind of basically got everyone in the correct formation and alignment in the front 7 there. So he's someone that you can trust and be sure your defense is in position. Even if he doesn't have the splash plays in coverage or the splash plays in the run game. I think you're okay with that. I had him much higher on my board. I think he was also a top 100. No, he was 101. He goes at 156. Rashard Smith, I had at 150. He goes at 228. If you were looking for a receiving back, he was one of the best in the class. Former slot receiver for the Hurricanes. Transfers to SMU. They put him at running back. Super excited. They just drafted a bunch of players I liked. And I think they maneuvered the draft fairly well enough. Like they knew, okay, if we want to go get a corner, we have to do it now. Jalen Royals is an exceptional value. Jeffrey Bassa, exceptional value. Simmons could be huge value. I think Chiefs are going to chief. I'm going to give it an A-. I really like their draft. Even with the guy like Gillette, who I'm like, okay, well, this is higher than where I have him. I see the fit, and I like it. And then we have the Los Angeles Chargers, the Superchargers. They go with Amari and Hampton, running back out of North Carolina. I thought Jim Harbaugh always took him for hey, we can take these journeymen or day 3 guys and get some good production out of them. Well, I guess to hell with it. Just give me a big boy back. I see how well my brother John's doing with Derrick Henry. I wouldn't mind getting one of those. So, yeah, I like the fit. It's a fine fit. Is it the most sexy pick in the 1st round? No. But it's a fine fit. And then they grab Trey Harris in the 2nd round at pick 55. He's got a little bit more of that dog in him downfield than a Quentin Johnston, which kind of feels like they're maybe out on at this point. So I don't mind it. I like the pickup. Jamari Caldwell, kind of feels like this was a little high to take Caldwell. I had him a little bit lower on my board. But then again, if you were to flip him and the round 4 pick of Kyle Kennard, who I had in my top 100, you'd be like, yeah, no, those are good picks. But Caldwell, he's very stout. He can drop that anchor and play that nose tackle position while also being a very good pass rusher. He's just hard to contain. Kyle Kennard brings some energy in that rotation and could be an heir apparent there to Khalil Mack. They grab some speed at wide receiver and Keandre Lambert-Smith. Had some drop issues, but he's got quite the highlight reel when it comes to catches. Rondé Gadsden Jr., the second, Dolphins legend, Rondé Gadsden. This is his son. He goes in the 5th round to be a big slot, to be maybe a tight end too. I don't know. Maybe this is their plan for what Tyler Conklin's going to be, and you're hoping to develop him in that way. Maybe. We're in the 6th round. They took some guys I liked, some guys I didn't. I wasn't a big Branson Taylor guy out of Pittsburgh. I think he was a little banged up this year. RJ Mickens, I absolutely loved. I thought that was some good value for a guy who's going to be a quality safety in the league. I could see him being like this Xavier Woods type around the league where you're like, you know what? Sure, we could go out and get an upgrade at safety, but we know Xavier Woods at least is a solid starter, so we don't have to really worry about that position. They grab a corner / safety, Taquez Bridges out of Florida. He played corner at Oregon. He played safety at Florida. I think it could kind of work both ways. Just get him to camp and figure it out. But this was pick 256. At the end of the day, they had some reaches that I like. Again, I felt Caldwell, this was a little higher than I'd be willing to take him, but you could flip that in the Kyle Kennard pick and it's okay. Omari Hampton, maybe not the sexiest pick. I mean, sexy for fantasy owners, but run back is swinging the other way. And you know what? They went out and got pass catchers. It's a good draft. It certainly is a good draft. I think I'm going to give it a B. I'm going to give it a B. It's solid draft. I'm not mad at it. You can't, I wouldn't really say there's that one pick that I'm like, oh, absolute steal, home run, gonna be a star. You can make that case for Hampton though. Yeah, I guess you can. It just depends on how much you value that. And then our final team is the Las Vegas Raiders. They took Ashton Jeanty with the 1st overall pick. Cool. I like it. I get it. It's running back. It's going to kind of be caught into it's going to kind of catch some of the similar shade as Amari and Hampton, the Chargers, except for the Raiders are doing this in the top 10. We are talking about a generational-esque prospect when it comes to Ashton Jeanty. I don't know if it's probably right up there with Bijan Robinson. I would say Jeanty is more put together when it comes to vision. Robinson had a little bit more with size. But I'm cool, man. Jeanty is going to be a difference maker. I love Jeanty. Listen, if you are right now a dynasty owner with pick 101, it's Jeanty among the rookies. There's no reason to make any other picks. Jeanty's an easy 101. I really like what they did in the 2nd round. They moved back a couple of times. Let's try to follow this. So they originally had pick 37, and then they move back to 48, pick up an extra 3rd. They do send a 5th back. I'm trying to remember, was that who that trade was with? 48. It wasn't Seattle. They moved up for Nick Emanuwari. You did have the Bills move up. They moved up at 41. So who was it that moved up to 37? Oh man, making me have to go look. Because I just don't have it on the top of my head. 37. 37. I mean, I legitimately could. Oh, here it is. Oh, F. I know why I didn't want to. I know why I didn't want to remember it. They shafted my freaking Dolphins. Son of a gun, dude. Screw you, Raiders. Dang. Yeah, we moved up for Jonah 7A. Rough. So with pick 48, they then proceeded to move back again. They moved back for a pick 58, so they move back 10 spots and pick up another third. So now they have a plethora of thirds. Keep in mind, they spent a third round pick to get Geno Smith, which we take into account here. That's big. That's quarterback. So what did they do after trading back twice? Jack Besh, wide receiver at TCU. I wouldn't mind a little bit more speed in the wide receiver room, which, it's fine. We'll talk about it in a little bit later. But Besh is such a good wide receiver. He knows how to create separation even if he isn't the fastest guy. Plays with my ball mentality. I like it. Darian Porter, corner out of Iowa State. He might be an older prospect, but in terms of tools, length, size, speed, he's got it. He just played 400 snaps for the first time in his career. Wasn't even a full-time starter last year at Iowa. Keep in mind, he was a wide receiver transfer or convert. So he's still relatively newish to the position, but there's a lot to like here just because he's kind of freaky. And I thought worth taking. Caleb Rogers, offensive lineman out of Texas Tech. He's probably a guard. This is higher than I would have taken him, but I get it. There's a lot of love with the versatility. He played center and guard at the Senior Bowl. He played tackle back at Texas Tech. So I could see why there was some allure to him, but they made it up with pick 99. They grabbed Charles Grant, who's got a lot of good tools, and he doesn't even have to start it right away. You can continue, you just develop him. So really enforcing the trenches to make sure that this run game is going to be nasty, to make sure Geno Smith has time to throw, and you even got him another weapon. Matter of fact, you go to the 4th round, and they got him another weapon. They were like, you know what? We got Trey Tucker. He's small and goes fast. Can we get big and goes fast? They grab Dante Thornton Jr. 6'5", 205, ran a 4.30? Golly. So speed kills. Tonka Hemingway, I like the player. I think he's going to be good in the rotation. Didn't get the buzz as some of the other guys on that South Carolina defensive line. And I mean, to be fair, I had them as higher prospects as well. He's about a little bit smaller, a little bit, he's not as heavy as TJ Sanders, who is around that like 295. And he didn't nearly test out as well, despite being lighter than Sanders, but he still tested out pretty well. If you go watch it, there's a lot to like about his game. But screw it. They grabbed JJ Pegues, and we could call it even here. He might not be like the fastest dude, but he gets after it. He's a smooth mover. I mean, there's a reason why he had like 7 rushing touchdowns, picked up 10 or 11 first downs. You could have a lot of fun with this type of player. Speaking of having fun with a variety of different players, Tommy Millette, quarterback at Montana State. He's going to be a wide receiver in the NFL. They announced him as a wide receiver. However, Cam Miller, quarterback out of North Dakota State, they announced him as a quarterback. So, developmental guy. He's going to be on the practice squad. Funny enough, they faced each other in the FCS championship game. So that's kind of wild. Competing quarterbacks there. They end the draft with Cody Lindenberg. That's a good pickup at 222. He might not push to be a starter, but I think he's going to be a good special teamer. He has a lot of good tape out there. All in all, I thought it was a really good draft. Even if you were to look and be like, you know what, I don't really value running back too much at pick 6. They did such a wonderful job with the remainder of this draft. You can't give it anything lower than an A, in my opinion. The only reason I'm not giving this an A+ is because, well, they swindled my Dolphins, and I'm petty as hell. Sorry. But let me know who were some of your favorite draft classes in the comment section below. That's it for the video. Let's give a special thanks to our friends over at Underdog Fantasy. Remember, when you download the app, you're signing up, promo code Broshmo. But as always, until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.